The Gender Action Learning System, GALS, is a community and household empowerment tool for both women and men. As Roots project targets 80% women and 25% youth, it will use GALS as an economic empowerment tool to which its women and youth beneficiaries across the Youth Project intervention regions. Through GALS, women and youth will be supported to develop clear and strong visions for change and concrete strategies and plans to enable them participate effectively in project implementation and take full ownership of the main project results. This will enable them to improve their lives and offer opportunities for positive social change at the household and community levels.
The Roots project is focusing primarily on rural women. The GALS is actually a tool that is meant to empower the rural women in decision making within the household, but also for their economic activities. And since Roots is targeting 40,000 households, it follows that you need to empower those, particularly those members of the households, the women that Roots is targeting. And since the whole objective is about the economic empowerment of the beneficiaries, the GALS is a useful first step towards the attainment of that objective.
Sometimes when you talk about empowering women and also empowering youth, a lot of people think that, particularly men, will think that, okay, you really want to snatch off the powers that they have or the control that they have from those groups. And then I think that was one of the challenges that we anticipated, and then it came out clearly when we spoke to the communities about this concept of GALS. Because for them, when they, at the initial stage, they thought that, okay, maybe why are you only empowering women? Why are you only empowering youth? But not knowing that sometimes if you empower a woman or you empower a youth, indirectly you are also empowering another man at the level of the household or at the level of the community. So having someone from a religious understanding within our setting from the participants was really something that helped us to overcome that challenge. So initially the reception was very limited, especially with men, and in a particular situation where you're only asking women to join you in your trainings. So sometimes at the beginning it was a bit challenging, but like what we did was, like, we said, okay, this is not only coming to empower women, but we are also going to ensure that at the level of the household, how do you ensure that everyone within the household participate in issues that affect them on a daily basis? So that was one of the things that we also used to overcome the challenges. But like I said, at the initial level, participation was limited. But along the way, when they started knowing, the participants themselves and even the men within them, when they started knowing how useful GALS could be in transforming their life, they were able to at least create a very swift change in terms of their perception about the whole concept around GALS.
We are hopeful about the success of the GALS because of the manner in which it has been conducted, but because of the level of community ownership and participation, and that bodes well for sustainability. We have also made use of the government institutions represented at regional level to lead the GALS process. That is also good for sustainability. Since Roots is a project and these are permanent government institutions, they should be able to carry out or continue actually the implementation of the GALS program and also expand them to other communities.
Lonki, Tebaya, Jata Kenda, Teba Maya, Ayesa Balupano, Feoping, Teba Maya, Niaji Kevereslala.
The GALS is a household methodology with the objective of creating better interaction and participation of every member of the household in decision making and contributing to the welfare of the family. The objective of the functional literacy and numeracy training is to build the capacities of beneficiaries with basic literacy and numeracy skills in a bid to enhance their understanding of basic business skills. Women being limited to the kitchen and household chores is a norm that is being passed from generation to generation. But how has the GALS initiative impacted on the lives of those that have attended the pilot training?
My name is Dudu Jame of Kanuma. When my wife told me about this project, I agreed because I knew it was going to be about the well-being of our family, and she proved me right after the training. It has a very positive impact on my family. Before the coming of this project, I don't usually sit with my wife to discuss things. When I close from work, I always sit by myself. But since she started the training, I observed that she will gather the family together and discuss with them what the project is really all about. That was very impressive because the advice I hear her give to the women and children was indeed very important, and I later joined in the discussion myself. You see, lack of communication is very bad, especially between a husband and a wife. If this project came earlier, a lot of things that has happened in the past would have been avoided. Me, I have 3 wives, but the understanding between them now is amazing. If husband and wives communicate well, there is a lot you can do for each other. Men who do not want them or their wives to be part of this training really don't want progress for themselves. Because if a woman is trained, she is trained to help others. This project has brought nothing but development to the family. If her contribution to our development was 100, now the GALS has added another 500, making it 600. Now I even accept and allow things I wouldn't have in the past, all because of GALS training. I communicate better with all my wives. This has brought a lot of development for both the men and the women, even the country at large.
We have benefited a lot from the GALS project. This does not only stop at family level, but at the village level as well. And I believe that with time, the entire country can benefit. This came at a time that there was no unity in our family, and it brought great development because now we can sit and discuss matters with our children and spouses, as well as how to go on about our work. Whenever I come from the training ground, I share with them what I learned because we used to do things wrongly. But since the coming of the GALS training, things have become a lot better. Some of the difficulties I had before were since Abdullah told me about the project, I took permission from my husband. I informed him that it is called GALS training, but it does not mean that it is for young girls. Rather, it is a training for men and women to develop. He did not agree in the beginning, but I continued to talk to him to a point that he was convinced and he agreed to my participation. That was the first challenge I encountered. In the past, I took care of the family because whenever I ask him for certain things about the children, he gets angry. But now, GALS has made it possible for us to do everything together. Part of the challenges I had was when the training started, it was difficult to adapt. But now, everything is easy.
Ndetom Usman Sedileti nyomi Kanuma Allah nay jang ayon kontane baba bake ndalen jang sutioti mbal bismillah la jang Allah ko nayon kontane bake.
My name is Usman Sedi, living here in Nyumi Kanuma. I am very pleased with your coming here today. I am the head of this family, and indeed I am very pleased with the GALS project she has attended. Let me acknowledge that I am indeed very pleased that she has attended the GALS training. She has been updating the family about the training every day when she comes back from the training. Things that she learned and we all understood. She's shown us some of her training materials, which has guides as to what to do to get to a stage where you wish to be. They are very realistic and we all agree that if we follow that, we will achieve what we want. She has fulfilled the expectation we had on her, and we have seen that in her attitude. She even resumed gardening, and she is doing very well, both with the gardening and her business. The entire family is benefiting from her. This training has made her very keen on how to develop the family. Some people might think this training will make women bring something new to the family. which will bring misunderstanding, and others might think it's good for the family. And that is normal, because people can differ in their views. On her part, we are really grateful that she have really united the family. All of us came to understand her and know that if we follow her footsteps, it will bring nothing but growth to the family. She is here to create way forward for the entire family and not to challenge any of us. And she is doing very well.
And tolingala makoiro dalinga wolije. Her family kor. And abakata come back.
My name is Jainaba Fofana from Nyomi Kanuma. I was approached by our VDC chairman, Abdoulaye Saho, to take part in the GALS training. I told him I will discuss with my husband, which I did, and eventually he agreed. Initially, I thought it was about girls' education, but my husband encouraged me to just attend and see. I used to do all the work at home alone. I never inquire about my husband's salary. Before this training, all I do was spend my money on things that are less important. But after the 5-day training, then I realized that contributes to why my living condition isn't getting any better. Since I attended the 5-day training, I started discussing with my husband things of the family interests, which I don't used to do. When my husband is inside, I'll be outside with my friends. By the grace of God, this year we will venture into farming as a family and not individually, which we never used to do before this training. Some of the difficulties I had was the duration of the training. It was a whole day thing, so I had to stop my tie and dye, soap making, and my other domestic chores. And also it was a challenge to convince my family and my husband to drop the old ways of how we used to do things. And also it was a challenge to convince my family and my husband to drop the old ways of how we used to do things. Roots should consider adding more men to the training to maximize the benefits.
Man mangi tuddu Abdoulaye Saho fi moy sama kër bi nga xamé ni
My name is Abdoulaye Saho. When the girls' idea first came, I did not show any interest because I thought it was not important. They said they needed 25 people to start the training. Reluctantly, I attended, but I thank God I did because a lot has changed in me since then. I used to feel too big to do certain things because I believe it's for women to do. The training has taught me that a family is like a tree. Everyone has a role to play. Now, everything that I do, I discuss with my wives and children first. Because before, I feel too big to even go to the bush to fetch firewood because I believe that is something women should do. But now, I am the very person that will lead the kids into the bush and fetch firewood. And I also go to the local market and do shopping for my wives. The GALS training has really changed my mindset a lot. It is indeed for both men and women to help each other. Here at their garden, now I'm the one that will dig their well for them when it's dry, and they will help me by pulling the sand out. That is something I never thought I would do. My family used to have separate gardens, but now they all join and do one big garden, and so far it's going very well. They will plant lettuce and I will put my cassavas in between, and all of us are seeing progress. I want to encourage all to join GALS because GALS is full of benefits, and I call on the men to join because it brings them positive changes, knowledge and great benefits.
njëriñ la GALS bale ak GALS bi nekkuñ benn góor bu ko dégg war ngaa taraay nga ñëw dugg ci ndax wecceeku la xam-xam la njëriñ nga ci.
Man Aïssatou Sandé maa ngi fii kër Ablaye Sakho mooy suma borom kër waaw waaye GALS bi am nañ si yokkute ñun.
My name is Aïssatou Sala. We have had a lot of progress on the GALS project. We want to thank GALS very well. We had even stopped gardening before and we searched everywhere for someone to dig our wells, but we couldn't find anyone. It is my husband who dug our well and we supported him by taking out the soil. If not for this project, we would have experienced a lot of destruction. Now we are relieved because if any part gets spoiled, we all join hands to make sure the job is done, including our children. This is all possible because of GALS. We might have had our misunderstandings in the past, but now this has all been sorted out. Before, everyone works on their own in the garden, but now we work as a group and everything is going on very well. We are thankful to GALS for improving the way we live with our families.
suñuy liggéey dañuy bokka luñ munti nekk daal ñëpp ñoo koy bokka daal suñu xel yi nekk na benn loolu GALS moo ko waral.
Mtoto wa jasiliti marakisa nying na gadino to de wala tono.
My name is Awajasi and I'm from Marakisa. At our garden, we were approached by Roots to train us on the GALS project. 25 of us were selected. The project has brought a lot of good changes because previously I never used to have help from our men and children at home. I used to work alone for hours daily, but since this project started, we learned how to involve our husbands and kids in our domestic and other related works. I previously used to think that all the profit I make from my business was for me alone, but the GALS project taught me how to make better use of it. I used to work at my garden alone, but after sharing with my husband what I've learned from the training, now we do the gardening together, including the kids. This is a great improvement. We work both at the garden and also help my husband at his farm too. Our children are so happy over the fact that now we would sit together as a family and discuss matters of family interest.
GALS le wonati ha nteto mu ana basileti mbota kombo birikama marakisa sateto nying GALS projecto ayenna fa bakele karongo kuja male kala.
My name is Anna Bass from Kombo Brikama, Marakisa. This GALS project has benefited us a lot. I have learned things that benefits me, my family, and the entire community. When I had the GALS project, I thought it was for young girls, but it turned out different. They taught us about business skills and how to manage our finances. They have also taught us to discuss at family level and involve our spouses and children. We share our profits into different portions in a way that it does not affect the business at all. This was guided by the Vision Journey Plan. For instance, we want to fence our house. We need to know how to get there and what exactly it is that we will need. We do all of this as a team, including my husband. If we decide to save $500 every month, we would have already calculated how much that will be. This savings will help us get where exactly we want to get. It has fostered a lot of success in our family because our communication became efficient. One challenge that we had was in our culture, men do not usually share how much money they make. But now that is in the past. One recommendation I want to share is the training was really time consuming. It is not easy to leave home from morning to 4 p.m. I suggest in the subsequent trainings, the time to be reduced to a more favorable time.
Fabakar Sise from Toyataba said when GALS was introduced into their family, it really helped them in their daily routines, where he said he normally helped his wife in the family upkeep. He also said the knowledge gained from the GALS really helped them in trying to well divide their food, which can sustain them for 2 days. In short, they had developed a financial discipline measure.
GALS kabringa karang ayna famen sorontole na sinkron na muson na dimbal ana fawar ba.
But the other challenge that we also have was the level of literacy among the participants, because these are concepts that are already written in English. We do not have them translated into our local languages. So we had to do all the trainings in local languages, either in Mandinka, depending on the community, or Fula or Wolof. So that was also a kind of a challenge, given that almost 80% or maybe 70% of the participants were not literate. Because of it uses visual impressions in terms of creating understanding, that was also something that really helped us. For instance, I can give an example. When we went to the communities during the training, we'll tell them, okay, for you, if your perception about a vehicle looks anyhow, irrespective of how someone will look at it, and then they would interpret it as not a vehicle. But once that you have understood, or once you've agreed among yourself as a group that this is the representation we are giving a vehicle in terms of visual impression, that is what is important. And each time you see that sign, you know that, okay, this sign for us is a vehicle. So it doesn't matter whether another person will come and say, no, this doesn't look like a vehicle.
Sure. I think we're hopeful about the success of the GALS because of the manner in which it has been conducted, but because of the level of community ownership and participation, and that bodes well for sustainability. We have also made use of the government institutions represented at regional level to lead the GALS process. That is also good for sustainability.